Hello, Hypno LA, and I'm super excited because we've got a special presentation today. We have the fabulous Shelley Stockwell. Great to have you with us, Shelley.
Great to be here, Dale. I'm so excited about your conference.
Super excited to have you with us. So for those of you who don't know Shelley, firstly, I'd be surprised because she's a very familiar face. She's actually a member of the Hypnosis Hall of Fame. She's been doing this stuff for over 50 years. And it's just a real pleasure to have Shelley with us. She's authored 27 odd books, and she's going to be, I think you're pretty local to Hypno LA, right? It's like in your backyard, right?
Pretty close. I'm in Rancho Palos Verdes. It's about an hour's drive from where your conference is being held. So I'm going to hang out at the hotel there because, I like to interface with everybody and spend time and get to know our community even better.
100%, because I think that's like mine and Laurie's intention. We really want to enhance the community in LA. Since COVID, a lot of things shifted, and we really want to bring something beautiful back. So we're beautiful to have you with us. Such a great name, great experience, a beautiful journey, and a lovely person to boot. So everything coming together. So I want to bring up your presentation show. You're going to be teaching how to hypnotize anybody, anytime, for any reason. So what are people going to take away from your presentation, Shelley? What are people going to learn from this experience?
Well, they're going to learn some of the subtleties of hypnosis, but they're also going to learn how to hypnotize somebody in less than a minute and a half.
Nice.
And one of the things I want to include, because it's a 2-hour class, is how to get rid of a phobia in 3 minutes.
Wow. Stopwatches at the ready. That's going to be really cool to see.
It works and it lasts. And, one of the things I found in my research and my writings is that really hypnosis plays neurology like a violin. It plays it like a Stradivarius. And when you can learn how to master the inner talk and the outer talk and your way of communicating, you communicate to your vagal nerve, which then sends out a vibe to others and a vibe to yourself to be happy, healthy, and wise. So basically, hypnosis is the coolest tool on the planet, and we're all hip and we all gnosis everything when we tune into our higher self. So I call my work higher self hypnosis. And my students are out there changing the world, and I'm proud of that. And my legacy, and I'm not pulling your legacy, our legacy is to be of value to ourselves, to each other, and to our community. And it's a very big community. So I'm hoping that Hypno LA is a huge success. I really, we just put it out on our Hypnosis Federation.com website so that we make sure that people know about it. And the more we can get the word out, the better, because it's local.
100%. And I think there's a lot of different stuff going on in the world nowadays. And I think it's really beautiful that, you're going to be there with us. And even like your musical metaphor, like there's a certain resonance when you're doing the work that really resonates with you, that really resonates with people. And when you can tune into that, truly magical things can happen. But you've obviously been doing this for a while now. I know you've got quite a colorful background, but how did you actually get to where you are today? Tell us a little bit about the inner workings or the inner journey of Shelley Stockwell.
Well, in 1970, I was a TWA, Trans World Airlines hostess, stewardess, flight attendant, whatever you called it. And in the day, I didn't know much about hypnosis. I'd been hypnotized once on stage by Pat Collins in downtown Hollywood. And I thought it was, in the audience, I thought it was bunk. I sat there and went, this is fake. I volunteered to go up on the stage to prove to myself that it was fake. And instead I wound up with my head in some lady's hair. It was all sprayed with spray net and stunk to high heaven. And I remember being hypnotized and breathing her hair and saying to myself, I've got to turn my head because this stinks. But it took me about 1.5 years to turn my head sideways. I mean, it took forever. And I thought, well, this is weird. And then at the end of all her shenanigans, she stretched me between 2 chairs and had a man standing on me. And I remember looking up at the stage lights at this celebrity club theater in Hollywood and saying, maybe I'm hypnotized because I don't think I normally do this. And then I forgot about it. I just let it go. And now I'm flying all over the world. I'm a stewardess, this great airline. And I decided, I eat a lot of junk food. I would like to stop. So I tried to stop, and I was hallucinating cupcakes with tap shoes, dancing. And I was thinking, I can't stop eating junk. So I heard about this hypnotist, and I went to see him. He was in Tustin. His name was Floyd McGuire. And it cost $25. And he was the world's worst hypnotist. But it worked. There's a long story about how this session went, but I can come back to that if you want. But in any event, it worked. And I didn't eat sugar for a year.
Wow.
And I had to know why. I just had to know. So I went on this quest to find out, how did this happen? How can somebody change a behavior that I can't change on my own by just saying nothing, basically? I mean, he just said, don't eat sugar. That's all he said. So, it was ridiculous to me. And so I went on this quest, and I studied with a guy named Theodore Barber from Harvard. And he was a complete jerk. He was such a jerk. And he just basically wouldn't show us how to do it. He wouldn't tell us how to do it. He would just talk about how it really wasn't anything, no big deal. But he was the expert on hypnosis. So I left there with a certificate saying I was an expert on, I don't remember the word he used, but the placebo effect, basically. And I didn't know how to do hypnosis. So I went back to this little man who hypnotized me, who I didn't know was a bad hypnotist. I paid him thousands of dollars, which I had to borrow, and he taught me nothing except how to count backwards from 100.
Wow.
And so then I go back to the airline and I say to all the flight attendants, I say, I'm a hypnotist. And they go, really? Would you read my palm? And I went, okay. So I take their palm and I do palm reading. I made it up. I made up stories. I look at their hand and make up stories. And they went, how did you know that? And I'd say, I don't know. I don't know. I know that. But I was getting pretty good at being a psychic. That was really weird. And then I started hypnotizing flight attendants and pilots because they have problems with jet lag. They have problems with sleep problems. They have problems with stress management, lots of problems. So I started working within my flights with pilots and flight attendants, and I got pretty good at cutting corners. I didn't count backwards from 100 anymore. Because I got mixed up with the numbers anyway, counting backwards. And I just started making things up, like, how do you hypnotize somebody? And books wouldn't tell me. There were no books. And so I became obsessed with this topic. It changed my life. And hence 27 books later, I'm training hypnotists. I train people all over the world. They use my books in different languages. And my most popular book is called Hypnosis, Smile on Your Face and Money in Your Pocket. And that's translated into languages like Russian and used in Indonesia and all kinds of places. So hypnosis is a cool tool, and it's very, very easy to learn. And what I've learned recently is that it's really very neurological or neuroillogical, because it really has to do with how you fire off your neurons, how you feel, and how you heal. And my goal in the class, my takeaway is that everyone in that class is going to be able to hypnotize somebody quickly for any reason, and we'll show some very specific inductions, and you'll learn them hands-on, and very specific way to get rid of a phobia very quickly in 3 minutes. So that's my agenda. And I got started not knowing, and now my life is about teaching people so they know. And hopefully the people I teach will teach people, and we will change the world one person at a time. And that's the motto of the International Hypnosis Federation, changing the world one person at a time. And we're dedicated to that goal. And I take it very seriously. But I also think that there's 5 pillars. Hypnosis should be mind, body, spirit, fun, and money. And fun may be the most important piece, because we have too many cases of seriosity in the culture. And so the ideal thing is to have people laugh on themselves and chuckle with themselves and get high with their higher self. That's the ideal.
I love it. So good. And I think this is one of the things that we wanted to bring to Hypno LA, because I think very similar to yourself. I mean, I came from a slightly different background. I did NLP. I was in the corporate space, but I was using it on people in my work. I was using it like I was doing the work. I was playing about. And I think so often people worry about doing it the right way, the correct way. There's like a seriousness to it. And ultimately, you're going to get it wrong until you get it right. Until you do it, until you practice it. And that's why we want to bring people like yourself in who've got this experience to have really practical, really real world skill applications so that people can build their confidence. They can learn cool things, but build a community as well where they can really feel connected.
Yeah, very good. Well, you know, what people don't realize, they're in a trance 24/7. They don't understand what trance is. And I always ask when I'm speaking, I say, how many of you have been hypnotized? A few people raise their hands. And then I say, how many of you have been in love? They'll all raise their hand. And I say, folks, you've all been hypnotized, because the ultimate trance is the love trance. And we walk in trances. If you think about who you were in love in third grade, you're not in love with that person anymore. But at that time, you were in that starry-eyed lust or love or whatever it was in third grade. So what happens is we walk in and out of trance, and advertisers know that. That's why you bought stuff you don't need. That's why you do things that are kind of stupid. Actually, what a hypnotist does for a living is they wake you up from stupid trances and put you into smart trances. That's what a hypnotist does. But they have it through the vehicle, if they're a good hypnotist, of your higher self, not the hypnotist, because the hypnotist, no matter how smart they are, has no idea who they're talking to.
Yeah.
Not know your history, your mystery, or your mastery. You do. And when you hypnotize somebody to get high with their higher self, the higher self tells the truth. And then we reprogram the knee-jerk response of the vagal nerve and the resulting neurological feedback from the glands, which changes your emotion. So it is a very mind, body, spirit experience. And we do it all day long with self-talk, but we don't call it hypnosis until you're more hip and you're more gnosis. That's when we change what we call it.
It's going to be so great to have you there. And it's also cool because it's in your local area, your local community. So, I mean, what made you decide I want to come to Hypno LA? What was it? The location? What was it that said I want to come along?
It was the location and you and your sweetheart. You know, Lori is adorable. And what happened was I knew you kind of vaguely over there. You were over there somewhere. And somebody said, are you going to the conference in Los Angeles? And I went, what conference in Los Angeles? And they said, oh, well, Dale and Lori are doing this conference, Hypno LA. And I went, oh. And they said, you weren't invited? I said, no, I wasn't invited. So I went and invited myself.
That's what I love about you. You say what you want. You say what you want, and you say, look, this is what I'm getting. And it's so interesting trying to awareness nowadays and making people aware with all of the stuff that's going on from emails, social media. And I'm really grateful that you came up to us, because half of our journey this year, this is the first time, this is going to be the founding experience, and it's going to be great regardless of how many people know about it. But it's really about everybody needs to know about it, and I'm glad that you can be part of getting that message out there too. And it's going to be fun. We don't want it to be stiff. We want it to be a good giggle.
Definitely. Well, see, one of the things you may not know, since you're more new to our community, which is a worldwide community, is the leaders of our community are, in general, very tight-knit group. And you need to know that the leaders that are really caring about humanity and the well-being of the culture, they are on board with you in your conference. You need to know that. And because we talk to each other. And there's a real sense of, we want you to succeed. And I say we because I'm speaking for this unknown mass of people. Something people don't understand who are in the field. There are 35 or so hypnosis organizations. 3 of them are very exclusive and elite, and they think you have to be a college grad. They think you have to have a license in some profession in order to practice hypnosis, and they're very mean to us. The other 32 are inclusive. We invite people who are licensed, not licensed, college degree, not college degree, people who really understand communication and the well-being of a person, and trust with there's some kind of prior thoughts about this, presuppositions, we call it in NLP and in hypnosis. And so I know you know the NLP presuppositions, and they're very similar. The presupposition of hypnosis is that it's in every one of us to be wise. Every single person really is smart, even if their IQ didn't reflect it, because they know themselves better than anyone else. They know how they get in a revolting development, and they know how to get out of it. So if you can plug that person into their own self, let's call it a navigation system, and give them the focus on where they want to be, not necessarily where they are, magic happens. And that's the amazing thing. I mean, I've done this over 50 years, and people still come up to me and go, Shelley, remember when you hypnotized me for, and I don't even know who they are anymore. It's been a long time. One session can change a life. It's mind-blowing. And it's as it should be, because you're putting them in the driver's seat to self-navigate to their game, being at the top of their game. Not your game, their game. So my definition of a hypnotist is we hold the mirror and we're a parrot. And that's all we do for a living, so that that person can reflect on their perfection. And if you can do that with grace, you have mastered this wonderful gift. Now, there are people who use hypnosis poorly. They have too much agenda for something else that's not empowering people to do the right thing. They'd rather have them buy that car or take that trip or whatever. And that's okay. It's just not my agenda.
Yeah, it's about different people are in different places, and they're at where they're at. And I think I'm not the biggest woo-woo out there, but I keep my mind open to it. And that people have vibrations. And I think what we're looking to create, there's some really great vibrations out there, and we want to bring something really special together. So I'm really honored to have you as part of that. And to close on this fabulous conversation we've had today, if there was one nugget, one bit of gold, what would you offer the people listening to this? What bit of advice does Shelley Stockwell have to somebody listening to this? What would you offer them?
I'm going to say to you folks out there, take a deep breath, hold it, let it out. Put one hand on one shoulder, one hand on the other shoulder, and give yourself a big hug and say something nice to yourself. Anything nice, no criticism, no harsh words, only something nice. And then smile on yourself, and smile all over yourself, and know that you're perfect just the way you are, and just the way you're becoming, and the way you're becoming is becoming to you. And so it is. Yes. And so it shall. That's what I want to say.
And so it is. Yes. Thank you so much again, Shelley. And thank you all of those who are watching today. We look forward to seeing you at Hypno LA. Links below if you haven't got your tickets yet. We will see you in September. Catch you soon.
Bye. Thanks, Dale.